Hello my disciples, Father Andrew here, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. At the time of recording this, it is the 30th, I just got home from vacation yesterday. I am still very tired from the flight back, but regardless, I'm going to talk about the vacation, the flight and all that now. Getting right into it, I went on a Christmas vacation to Malta, which is a small island just off the south coast of Sicily. Flying out to said island was actually faster than I expected, only taking 2.5 hours as opposed to the 3.5 it was supposed to take. But coming home was 3.5 hours. Anyway, first day at the hotel was actually nothing major. We arrived, we packed away our stuff in the hotel room, and it was quite late when we got there. So after that we just went down, had dinner, then went back up to our rooms where I would drink some vodka with Coke and I would then proceed to practice drawing. Which, I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely gotten better at drawing by hand. On this first day, it was mainly us just looking around the main parts of the hotel. The lobby where you come in the front, the dinner hall, which was actually quite nice, and the hotel room, which was actually surprisingly nice as well, especially the hotel room bathroom, which was more spacious than I thought it would be. My only complaints with these two rooms being that the actual beds themselves were ridiculously stiff, like they were soft around the edge and I could tell they were a spring mattress from the way they felt, but the middle springs were just not giving at all. I'm not sure why that was, but anyway, the bathroom also had one major issue, and that was the toilet itself. There was a button you would press to, like, you'd have to push it in to make the toilet flush, but the button was incredibly stiff and would get stuck, so if you push it in all the way, you'd be standing there for a good 30 seconds of the toilet continuously flushing until the button came out just enough for you to grab it and pull it to make it stop. But yeah, apart from those two complaints, the hotel was really nice, and it was all decorated for Christmas, as you can see in some of these pictures. Which, considering Malta's history, is just the expected result. It's a very Christian island. Anyway, moving on to day 2, it was mainly just going around and shopping for things to pick up for ourselves for Christmas, and then visiting a restaurant where I had an absolutely fucking amazing pizza. This thing has mussels, it has onions, it has squid, it has, I think, tuna in there as well, but it dreadfully came with whole olives which still had the seeds in, so I plucked those off and gave them to someone who wanted them. But anyway, once we'd finished eating, we then went to go visit a relative's sister. Not too much to say about that, just kind of sat down, had a coffee and a chat, and that was about it. After that, went back to the hotel, had dinner later, then went back up to our rooms. I continued to drink and practice drawing, and I'm not gonna lie, that drinking and drawing are basically how most of the days ended. Also, at the beginning of day 2, I spotted O Cholera de Fete Fazbear out in the wild, with his goofy mouth hanging open, hungrily awaiting the arrival of more cigarette butts, toenail clippings, staples, burned toast, and probably the occasional used condom. But anyway, moving on to day 3, we went around the markets. I purchased a flask among other things. We generally went around and did more shopping. We stopped at a place, got some food, and instead of having lunch in the downstairs hall at the end of the day, we went up to an Asian restaurant inside the hotel on the 3rd floor, which, I'm gonna be honest, they were serving sushi. I just ate the majority of the sushi, like, I left barely any. I fucking love that stuff. The restaurant itself was also quite nice, but it was one you had to book into. Like, you had to book your seats in there the day before type shit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for day 3. Moving on to day 4, which was actually Christmas. Only 2 major things happened. I had to go to the store to pick up milk for making coffee in the hotel room, and had a massage, which was honestly fucking amazing. I've not had one for like 6-7 years. Well, of course, until that day. But during it, my shoulder blades just kept snapping, crackling, and popping like a bowl of Rice Krispies. And this whole thing took place on like the -4th floor. That's like 4 floors below ground where they had this like spa. They also had like an indoor pool, and there was changing rooms down there for if you want to go into the indoor pool. But I'm gonna be honest, I have a few complaints about the area. The first being it could only be accessed by a singular set of stairs or a elevator, meaning that if there was a fire you would be more than likely trapped down there. And at one point in the week the actual elevator broke down and you had to walk 7 flights of stairs just to get down there from the 3rd floor, because for some reason the 3rd floor had a set of stairs that led down to it, but it was only connected to the 3rd floor because the 2nd and 1st floor were under maintenance, so you could not access it from anywhere except the 3rd floor or that specific elevator. So chances are if there was a fire you would get trapped down there. And let's not forget that there were negative floors. Negative 1, 2, and 3 were also sealed off because they were under maintenance as well. Either that or there was just no fucking door to begin with. But yeah, apart from the blatant access issues, I have 2 other complaints. The changing rooms were clearly just repurposed toilets from whatever was down there before, and they were not optimized for it, but they were just about functional. There was just enough space for you to go in, get changed, but there was no proper places for actually hanging up your clothes while you dried yourself off after you like showered from using the pool or something. And the lockers, which were near the pool. They had terrible security. You could genuinely just punch in 4 numbers, reset it, and then open it up to access whatever's inside, so we didn't even bother using them because they were just piss poor security. We ended up just going to the pool on the 7th day and putting our stuff near it in eyesight so that if anyone tried to grab our stuff we could see it. But that wasn't much of a problem because there was fucking hardly anyone down there on the 7th day. But anyway, there's nothing else to talk about with day 4, so moving on to day 5. We went to a special kind of like art town kind of place where they had glass related stores, wood related stores and stuff. Like stuff made of glass, wood or stone. Saw a lot of really cool stuff and I bought some knickknacks and stuff for myself. But honestly, these stores had some really fucking cool stuff. One of the most notable examples being a giant amethyst geode, obsidian blades that they had on sale, actual dinosaur fossils from things like Megalodon and other prehistoric life, some really cool primitive Stone Age knives made from like carved stone, like lodged into a bone, among many other things. But yeah, the whole day really just consisted of exploring, shopping, picking up gifts for ourselves and for other people. Day 6 was a bus tour of the island with more shopping and us also getting to ride a horse cart for about 40 minutes. Honestly, the tour bus the ride was ridiculously long, like easily several hours, and it went around pretty much the entire island. We saw pretty much everything. The only place we didn't explore was the City of Silence, was because it was literally just a bunch of ruins and shops and that was it. But despite how long the tour was, it was actually pretty enjoyable, despite the fact that by the time we got back to the hotel it was basically nighttime and freezing cold. And being on the top of an open roof bus and being hit by cold wind really does not help with that. And looking back at my notes while recording this, something I forgot to mention is the decapitation risk, which is primarily from tree branches and has actually happened to someone in the past. So if you're ever on an open top bus ride, just keep an eye out for any incoming tree branches, and if you suspect they're too close, don't be afraid to duck down, because it has happened before. But yeah, apart from that, day 6 was actually pretty interesting. I saw a lot of really cool sights, went shopping, picked up more knickknacks and decorative stuff for my room. We got to ride around on the horse cart, felt like a goddamn king in the process, and yeah, that's all I can really say for day 6. Now moving on to day 7, not too much to say about that apart from doing a bit of shopping, going in the pool on floor -4 as I mentioned, and also getting to try prickly pear for the first time. Said fruits need to be peeled before they're eaten, and they grow on the appropriately named prickly pear cactus, peeling being necessary due to the fact that these fruits are covered in a shitload of tiny spikes. But yeah, regarding the actual flavour of the fruit, they are definitely sweet, but they are full of a shitload of tiny and solid, really hard seeds that you're better off just swallowing rather than trying to spit out, because they are just all throughout the thing, and it's just easier to just chew it up, swallow the seeds with it, and then just shit them out later. It's just easier. And no, the seeds are not toxic, they are completely fine to swallow, but apart from that, the fruit is pretty okay. But anyway, after that, then we had to pack our luggage to prepare for day 8, which was us actually going home. But yeah, with that, that's basically the vacation I went on for Christmas. I'm quite glad I went, it was pretty damn fun. But yeah, that's it. See you around.